Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends. Get your gaming goodness every Saturday. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here another week closer to Ciaran playing Bloodborne. No, Battleborn, that's the one. Fucked up my own joke. I was thinking about it too much. Also, he needs to play Bloodborne.
He's tried it. He tried it on stream. I think he got a couple hours.
No, I need to finish
I didn't
it.
even get to the first. I got to the first boss and I didn't even really scratch him.
It's like, you know how they say there's a hump you have to overcome before you really hit the game? You didn't overcome the hump, though. Yeah, also here's Ciaran Marchant.
Hi guys. I'm here after a week of great support from our listeners that clearly think that it will be me that is playing Bloodborne. So, Bloodborne? Battleborn! God damn it, Ashley.
Oh my god.
What is it with all these games having similar names? Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds, Battleborn, Bloodborne.
You've named
all
the games for
Battleborn, Overwatch. Sounds safe.
They're all the same. Yeah, good job. So yeah, this week on the show, we're going to be dropping our yearly, very professional predictions for the Game Awards and what reveals and trailers we could see. It's always good time. This year, everyone's taking it a lot more serious, obviously, because
will someone get one right this year?
But Bloodborne's on the line. Oh, I mean Battleborn. No, I did that one on purpose. Doesn't count. But firstly, we do have a couple news stories to get through before we get to the main event, as you will. So the first story comes from KOTAKU. It says Halo immediately launches into Steam's most played games. In 2019, and one of the most played games on PC is Halo. The launch of Halo, not just on PC but on Steam, was always going to be a monumental occasion, and even though the game only officially unlocked in Australia earlier this morning, as of recording, around 5 a.m, the game is already starting to go toe-for-toe with PUBG, with just over 138,000 concurrent players. PUBG has around 141,000 players at the time of writing, although the game peaked at 613,000 earlier today, the highest of any game on Steam right now. A better comparison is that Destiny 2, GTA 5 and Rainbow Six games that have fairly stable player bases are consistently in the Steam's top 10 games themselves. Halo Reach or Halo Master Chief Collection technically has soared above all of that, and it's not including anyone playing on PC through Xbox Game Pass or the Microsoft Store. So yeah, I saw everyone on Twitter also going quite crazy for this, I guess, particularly a lot of Rooster Teeth people I follow, I guess, because obviously that's where the roots of the company is in a lot of ways. And a lot of those people have moved from over the years from Xbox to being PC players, I guess. So it's like the babies come home a little bit to for a lot of people.
Especially with Halo Reach being featured as part of that collection, which wasn't in
the original release.
The original release. So even if people are like, well, you only just recently played the Master Chief Collection. Well, now you've got Halo Reach, which is, probably one of the best, if not the best Halo game.
Are they fighting words, or is that the general consensus?
No, that's general consensus.
Okay.
Reach has a special place in a lot of people's hearts. So it's a great game, and it doesn't even feature Master Chief. It's like...
Yeah. Well, I've gone from having access to them to having access to them on my PC,
Yep.
So, and in a lot of ways, it's like, I don't know, maybe I'll just end up playing on my PC because they'll probably run better, obviously. I'll be able to get them
That puts me into because I'm going to, since downloading it today, I was like, all right, I'm either talking Dylan into joining me and playing this or Gears. But then I was like, oh, is Dylan going to want to play these on freaking console?
No, I'll play them on PC.
No, if he's playing on PC.
Okay. It's not like I'm missing out on trophies over here. No. The only thing, if we're going to do any of these playthroughs of these games, which I'm down for, they're just not going to be happening anytime within the next couple weeks.
No. It would have to start some point next year.
You're thinking it would be like January. We can hit these January. You've played them before, so if you're willing to wait or replay,
I can definitely wait. I might play Halo Reach once before then, but other than that, that's fine.
Otherwise, we can make one of the 2020 things that I play through all of the Halos. And as I've said before, with all of these games, I'm more likely to actually do them if I'm playing them for content.
For content, there's a purpose of playing for them. Yeah, no, that's completely fine. That's exciting because they're both, Halo as well as Gears of War are both some of my favorite franchises. So I'm excited to play through them with you.
And I've been looking at monitors a lot recently, so maybe
you're going to get one of those nice 144 hertz refresh rate monitors?
Yeah, see, the problem, this is a side discussion, but we'll have that anyway. The problem I'm having is I'm like, I look at 4K ones, right? And I'm like, I know everyone.
No.
I know everyone's like, that's stupid. Don't get a 4K monitor. It's completely ridiculous, unnecessary.
It's expensive.
Really
No,
expensive. Yeah, well, they're like $1,000. I'm like, I don't have the money for that right now, but I'm like, do I so? Whereas like the 144 hertz ones, I'm like, I could, they sit around $400 or $500. You can get decent ones, sort of thing. So I'm like, that I do have.
That's I think that's if you're new to PC gaming, because I think in like the last week, I don't know why, I've seen a lot of people in various communities and groups or social medias saying that they're building PCs again for the first time, or they're coming back to it. And I'm like, well, great, welcome aboard to the PC Master Race again. And the most important thing is get a 144 hertz monitor if you've got a decent TV. Make sure you have that higher refresh rate monitor so you can take advantage of the frames and the goodness. The frames.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't get all the 4K ones I was looking at were high.
Yes.
Like they were. Yeah. It wouldn't be like, let's get a 4K monitor with a fucking refresh rate of like 60 hertz or something.
Refresh rate?
Yeah.
No, that would be sad.
I know people probably do that, but I'm not that dumb. So, but that's where obviously you get a high refresh rate, and then you get you look at 240 hertz one with 4K and all this shit, and you're paying like $2,000 or something.
What was I playing? And I don't know. I was playing something recently, and it was either an older game, and it kept stuttering, like the frames kept dropping really low, and it was probably to a manageable level. Like I've always said on Overwatch, I couldn't play below 100 frames a second anymore. It's just physically looks bad and looks wrong. And somebody asked me to go to the local net cafe to Guff here in Shep, and I was like, I can't go. Like their screens are like 60 FPS, like 60 hertz. Like the PCs are terrible. No thanks. It'll hurt my brain. And I think console gamers are gonna come towards that a little bit more, hopefully, with this next generation.
Console
gamers.
No, I think the main reason I was looking is because obviously I upgraded my PC at like early in the year, so now I can play most games on like the high settings these days, and I just want to upgrade my monitor to better represent.
That's the worst bit. Is a lot of people splash out on their PCs, but then not update their peripherals that are with their PCs. So they have these really nice computers with crappy monitors they've had for the last like 5 years.
That's me currently.
Yeah, it's just like,
but one thing at a time.
Hurts. It hurts.
One thing at a time. The PC was the important thing first, and now we're looking at the monitors. But I'm thinking normally is I'll upgrade one monitor, and I'll get like a better monitor. That'll be like the main screen, obviously, but then I'll still just have one of these shitty old ones still. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get
one. Your secondary monitor doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
As long as you have an Ash, you can get a monitor just for your toolbar. Really.
Now, it's only going to annoy me from like a asymmetrical like level type thing. Because at the moment they're both the exact same monitor, so they're like these.
I really want to get this is random talk, but I do really need to get a bracket for my monitors,
so better.
That they can,
depending on the monitor, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's Dylan's.
That's random
talk. I was looking. There was no good ones I could find during Black Friday sale, so it never happened. I'll continue to look as we approach Christmas, and welcome back to monitor update talk in the coming months. All right, moving on.
Yep.
Game Sutra. Campo Santo is in the Valley of the Gods on hold as team shifts to Valve projects. Obviously, I thought this was a good story to read because one was talking about Half-Life
As
Alyx.
reported last week on this episode of What Do You Want to Watch?
Yeah. No, Arcade Couch.
What do you want to watch? What do you want to watch?
It's been a long day.
What do you want to watch? Don't give away the secret that we record certain shows in one after another. So they write, the Project Firewatch developer Campo Santo had been working on before being acquired by Valve last year has been officially shelved for the time being, as more and more members of that team have instead focused their time on Valve's upcoming VR game and other projects. Polygon received a statement from Campo Santo co-founder Jake Rodkin, after a number of small hints put in the Valley of the Gods future in question, confirmed that it isn't in active development, but, quote, certainly feels like a project people can and may return to. The 12-person team of Kanto Santo joined Valve back in April 2018, saying at the time that all the team members would keep their current roles and continue work on In the Valley of the Gods, which had been announced just 5 months prior. Shortly after, Rodkin explained in a conversation with Rock Paper Shotgun that the decision allowed the team to shift their focus back to game development and away from day-to-day obligations that came with running a business. This got brought up last week, and at the time, I obviously saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about it and whatever else, and I think I said something last week's episode. I was like, let's just wait and see first before we're like, it must be cancelled. By sound of this, it does. The thing to be careful with this story to me is I think people can very quickly paint Valve like a villain, even if they may not be, because the thing is we don't know the full story, and there's 2 versions of this. So the version that a lot of people are painting is Valve buys Campo Santo. They're like, fuck your game, come work on our game. But for all we know, they were like, hey, just want to offer you the chance. It's up to you guys. Would you like to shelve your game for the time being and come work on a fucking Half-Life game? And they were like, you know what? Fuck the photography game. We're working on a Half-Life game. And we don't know which one it is. So I think it's like one of those stories where people are sort of filling in the blanks to fit the narrative that they want. You know what I mean? So I'm like, we don't know. So who's to say?
And this could grow to improve in the Valley of the Gods in the long term, where I think when a lot of us played Firewatch and experienced that game and jumped into that, we saw a lot of potential, even though there were areas of it that were a bit rough around the edges. It wasn't a perfect piece. It had a lot of potential to it. A lot of people enjoyed it. It was a great experience, but it didn't. Some people, including myself, didn't feel fulfilled by it. So
I gave it a 7.5, I think, back on my website I was running before we found an Explosion Network.
So I think this is a good opportunity to, maybe, come give yourselves a break from what you were working on. Have a palate cleansing experience doing this for a year or 2. Work on a fucking Half-Life game. Get that inspiration, get that work ethic, and learn from the experience of Valve. Then come back and make Valley of the Gods an even better game because of it. So I think it's a really smart business decision. I think it's a really smart business decision creatively. I don't know. I feel like anybody who's trying to paint Valve here as the bad guy is just wanting an excuse to say that Valve is the bad guy, or is looking for a reason to paint them that way. I don't think it's something that is naturally shown here.
Do you have any thoughts, Ash?
I mean, it makes sense. Why would you? I mean, the chance to work on a Half-Life game is pretty rare, clearly.
Very rare.
Very few. Very rare. So, I mean, if the opportunity comes up, I'm sure that was part of... They addressed that when they were bringing them on. They were buying them. They're like, hey, we're thinking about working on this Half-Life game. Is this something you'd be interested in?
It may have been.
I'll be honest. I can wait for this photography game. It's not like I'm salivating. It's not like I'm waiting earnestly in front of my laptop every morning, see if there's any news on whether Photograph Egypt games come out. I mean, if I want to photograph Egypt stuff, I'll just go to Egypt.
The thing is,
I can open up Google Maps, Google World, whatever it's called.
We probably got the toolbox.
I didn't even make the toolbox.
Ash is like, will it ever end? Damn you to hell.
You have one toolbar. One.
You had a lot more than
but it was us Jeeves.
One.
You had like a Norton antivirus freaking toolbar.
This joke's been running for literally like 2 years.
It was
fucking great though. Oh dear. But yeah, I do agree. Like as cool as that trailer was at the Game Awards, the thing, and like I wasn't like head over heels for Firewatch, but it was like more like here's a small team doing interesting things with like team members that were involved with interesting things. And I guess the reason people get excited for it and wish that it was still around is just because they're like, yeah, but it was like a new property and now they're working on the fucking in existing IP, but it's like
I tell you what, there is definitely not enough indie developers working on new properties that nobody's seen before. So, I understand why they would be upset.
there's lots of indie developers and lots of new IP. It's just like people only support, like Campo Santo was so successful with Firewatch, they would have fit into that category of whatever their next game was, it would have sold well because they reached a level of like people were gonna like from the makers of Firewatch,
Notoriety.
we're gonna watch it. We're gonna play it.
After Party this year. If it hadn't been on the Game Pass, I'm sure it would have sold.
It would have sold decent because of their previous game. So
I'm sure it did sell pretty well on other platforms.
Yeah, it was on the Epic Store, I think, so maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? All right, so next story, IGN, and this one's important for our main topic later in the show because I'm going to make a ruling. Don't know if it's going to piss anyone off.
Damn it!
Don't know if it's going to piss anyone off, but I'm making a ruling.
When I wrote it down earlier, I was like, Dylan's going to cancel this.
We're making a damn rule.
Crap right now.
So IGN says a listing for what appears to be a remake of Resident Evil 3 has been added to the PSN catalog. GameStat.com, a website that tracks data added PSN via the system's API, has revealed that 3 Resident Evil games have been added to the Japanese data banks. One is Project Resistance, already announced co-op multiplayer game, but 2 are for Biohazard RE3 or Resident Evil 3. The entries come with cover art that shows off new redesigns for Nemesis, Jill, and Carlos. A tweet from the prolific industry observer Nibble also showed off the US cover with Resident Evil 3 rather than Biohazard title treatment. The images suggest that a remake of Resident Evil 3 is in the works at Capcom and seemingly soon to be announced. That or perhaps that a release with a lovely new cover art are on the way. The cover art seems to suggest that there will be a special edition of the release called the Z version, although the data currently does not suggest that this variant may provide over the standard version. Blah, 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 blah. We talked about last week or this week, I can't really remember, honestly, on Platinum Explosion this. At the time I said...
This week it sounds like.
Was it? I don't remember. They all flow together.
I'm pretty sure it was this week.
I said that if this was real at the time, because there was only murmurs of it, I was like, if this is real, I have no idea how they've done this. Like, Resident Evil 2 Remake literally came out this year. It was announced last year. If 3 gets announced this year and it's like out next year, what the fuck is going on? How are you doing this? But at this stage, it is. And the reason I'm going to make a ruling that where no one's allowed to pick this for their thing is because it's basically at that stage of leakage where it's like everything but someone officially walking out and saying it's real has happened. Like there's box art, there's listing leaks, there's too much. So officially,
the fact that it's come from a large part, the majority of this leaks come directly from PSN.
Yeah,
is it shows that it's very real, but also it shows how far down the track of it being real.
It shows they're going to announce it, and the pre-order is going to go live straight away, which means it's going to be out early next year, probably.
Yeah, I would say like first or second quarter next year.
Yeah, around the same time that 2 came out. And I'm like, how?
Which would be crazy. If they insert Resident Evil 3 into end of January, early February, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that time period's already fucked. So,
like Nemesis is just going to come crash in and like dogpile everybody else who's got games coming out. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I'm at this stage going to say that this is most likely was going to be revealed at Game Awards. On it, I think at this stage, honestly, with the amount of leaks that are happening, I am like somewhat. Maybe they'll just like release a teaser trailer ahead because there's so many leaks. You know how they've done this for something like at E3 this year? I can't remember what it was now, but like, Watch Dogs. Like it leaks so much that they released like a teaser trailer and was like, hey, yeah, we're showing off the game at E3. So maybe they'll end up doing a sort of similar thing. But this game at this stage is just, it's just splodged all over the internet. So yeah, no one is allowed to predict that because it's out of the stage of like, there's some slight leaks that may or may not be true. To the game is fucking real. It's undoubtedly real at this stage. It's not up for debate. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. And also, I'm interested to see how that game turns out because I haven't played it. I haven't played any of these Resident Evil games since I was real young and I used to go to my friend's house. But Resident Evil 3 I always found quite weird, especially compared to 1 and 2. So
I think Resident Evil 3 looks at Resident Evil 2 and how well Mr. X plays out through that game and goes, we're going to knock that up another 10 levels of intensity.
It's more an action game than a horror game. Well, the original
it's more
one
action.
Was, so
it's more action, which is it kind of bridges the gap yes, it's numerically it does it, but it bridges the gap between 2 and where we end up with Resident Evil 4. Like, it still has this horror element of how intensely scary Nemesis is as a player, but you have a lot more things you can do. You have a lot more options. It's not really survival anymore. And then that kind of jumps itself over to where we have Resident Evil 4, which most people believe is the best Resident Evil game, which is not a survival horror game at all. It's just a straight up action game.
Yes, an action game. I just an update. I think I said this on Plato, but I got Resident Evil finally. I brought it. It was on sale. I don't know if don't know if I'll get around to play it before we vote on our best games of the year here. It's looking very doubtful at this stage.
Probably
but I'm
not.
also very scared to play that game. Like, there's certain things that scare me in games, and like I like playing horror games, but running away from Nemesis, I know it's been memed.
What?
It's been
Dylan should make videos or stream his playthrough of it. What?
It's been memed to the point that I should not be scared. Turn to Thomas Tank Engine, but I'm legit like, nah, that doesn't. Nah, I don't want to. Like, I feel like I'd get to a stage where you like burst through the first door, and I'll be like, nah, close game, I'm out.
The only thing I was like, that was even though I think everybody has that thought going in, but I feel like everybody eventually hits a wall where they mentally go,
You get used to it.
Oh,
yeah, it's
he's
more the
not that
first-
scary.
it's more
I
the
know the
first time.
rooms he can't go into.
Yeah.
I know what he can do
But
now.
the only game that I stopped playing over like the last X amount of years because I was like, no, I can't play this, it's too scary. And I've played a fair chunk of like horror games over the last 5-6 years, obviously. The only one I stopped playing because I was too scared was Alien Isolation. And that's because it gets to the point where the aliens creeping around, I'm like, nah. I was just like, I can't. I literally, like that game, I literally was like, you open up your thing and like, beep, 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 aliens get close. I'll be like, I quit the game. I'm done. And I watch a lot of horror movies and everything too. But I think that just speaks to like games and horror and how like it affects you in a different way. Because I'm just like, nah, dude, fuck you. I'm done. Like, I can't fight you. I can't do anything. Get the fuck out of my life. All right, last news story, and I think this is an important one to go over because we touched on it early in the year, and I think this is it's an important story for this year in the game industry, but it's also an important story when it comes to like how powerful good reporting is in the games industry as well. So Kotaku writes, Riot settles lawsuit will pay every female employee since 2014 with $14.6 million fund. Riot Games will pay out a huge US $10 million, $14.6 million, proposed settlement collectively to every woman who has been employed by the company at any time over the last 5 years. The settlement is one of the largest in California history for a gender discrimination suit, says the plaintiff's lawyer. The payout, which was first reported by Los Angeles Times, marks a sweet moment of justice for the women at Riot who have been systematically disadvantaged working at the giant gaming company according to a 2018 Kotaku investigation. Our report described rampant sexism at Riot, manifesting in its hiring and promotion, practices of quote-unquote bro office culture, which sometimes encourage harassment and gender discrimination. The suit filed November 2018 also describes how women at the League of Legends publisher were paid less than the men in the same or similar position. A copy of the proposed settlement obtained by Kotaku notes that each lawsuit participant will receive some amount of money determined by, quote, their 10-year length and status. Quote, as an employee, one reason for the large sum is to make up for what plaintiff's lawyer determined was a significant difference in salary between men and women at the company. Ryan Sabar, the plaintiff's lawyer, said in a statement that, quote, this shows that Riot is serious about changing the culture at the company. Riot told Kotaku in an email that, quote, we are pleased that a proposed settlement to fully resolve the class action lawsuit against Riot was filed recently by plaintiff's counsel. So obviously this is the original story they talk about. I think there's obviously two things to this that make it happen, and I think are worth pointing out. A, it's really important that the women at Riot came forward. If they didn't come forward, this wouldn't have been happening today. If they'd stayed quiet, then it wouldn't be happening. So I think like they sit at the top of the pedestal for me of like moving and making this happen and moving the industry forward. But then also I think it's 100%. Cecilia, we've been over this before. Dinasio, I think is how Ash corrected me once. I can't remember. Who does absolutely killer, fantastic work over at Kotaku. Has been writing these fantastic articles over the last couple of years working there. She wrote the original Inside the Culture of Sexism at Riot Games, which was published on February 19th, 2019, earlier this year. Very lengthy report. with I read it at work actually, and it took me all day in between customers, but I just kept reading it because I'm like, this is fucked up. And that was kind of my turning point, very much at the start of the year, where I was like, what the fuck, right? And it was like, pissed me off with the company for the rest of the year, and they continue to have more shit happen. But so it's like, it's a major success story for the women at Riot, but then also I think it is a major success story under that for a proving stone of what good journalism inside the games industry can actually achieve when it's done, and what that can do, because she definitely raised up those voices of the women that were shouting, and she was like, here's your platform, and here we are now. They're fucking working out and doing the thing. I don't want to give Riot, I know it's very easy to, I guess, for some people to spin the story and be like, yeah, but Riot's good on Riot for doing the right thing. We don't need to clap them for doing
no choice.
Yeah, like,
they had no choice at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like it was, they had no other option to change. Because if they didn't change, it was just going to be just a quick way for them as a company to go bust.
Yeah. And I think the asterisk in that is, just because they're paying it doesn't mean they're changing.
No, exactly.
Yeah. And the proof in
they have to do something to show externally. They have to show that they're changing. And I think things like contracts and money amounts will change. But the actual culture inside, the actual way females are treated or women are treated in that organization, that's something that's a lot harder to change and a lot harder to fix.
Well, it all comes from the top. And that's what the original story started with. Like, all the higher-ups were saying that this bro culture type thing was fine at the workplace. And then, of course, everyone else below them was like, well, this is perfectly fine. This is the way Riot Games does it. You know, the original story covers stuff of them, like, interviewing people and being like, what games do you like to play? Like, you're like, we only hire people who are hardcore gamers who play, like, Call of Duty and shit. You know, like, this was like the hiring process. And then women would give ideas, and then the men would kind of steal them, and all these sorts of things, and lots of sexist jokes and the usual affair for this sort of thing. But it all starts from the top. So I'm like, I find it hard to believe this is good. I'm glad this is happening, but at the same time, I find it hard to believe that Riot as a company will change until the higher ups either step down on their own accord, or eventually something goes so wrong that they're forced out. I don't know what will come
first. It just put a sour note on what should have been a very big year for Riot. Like, everything they did for most of the year then just seemed like backpedaling. Even stuff like the documentary that they put out prior to their 10-year anniversary, it didn't come off as a celebration. It kind of came off as a bit of backpedaling, or a bit of trying to win over the public respect again. And even though, like, the documentary would have been in progress way before the article came out, it still shines a really negative light on it. It shines that kind of, this is a company that's built up on some really flawed values and some really flawed cultures. And I think Riot have a lot to make up for, and a lot to do in a way of getting people's respect back as a company.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, like, into 2020, it's like they got all these new games and projects and anime series and whatever the hell else coming out. It's like, okay, but I feel like with so much more attention on themselves going forward, especially after this lawsuit coming to an end, it's like the second people are going to be watching them with a very fine eye. And it's like, it's like, if any of the higher ups there think they can just, like, be more careful now and get away with it, I'm going to be like, y'all dumb. Y'all dumb as fuck. KOTAKU will do another damn article on you, dumb idiots. Do you have any thoughts, Ash? Sitting over there in the quiet corner?
No, it's good that they're paying out, and hopefully this just brings a kind of end to it, and we can all kind of move on, which I guess is what they want to happen as well. And
they want. How dare they? They're trying to cover it up
with lots of money.
Trying to cover it up with lots of money, yeah. Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I will, to be honest, I fully expect to hear something else next year. I mean, maybe it's been on the negative side, but still just like, I find it hard to believe that culture's changed like that. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't happen. So we'll see how we go. One thing we want to talk about for what we've been playing this week, and that is all in Ciaran's court. Because Ciaran, after talking shit on Mr. Kojima himself for years at this point, every Death Stranding trailer, he's like,
hashtag stop hating Hideo.
every trailer, he's like, this is shit, this is trash, why does anyone care about this? While me and Nick are over on Platt talking about like dissecting the trailers and having a good old time, Ciaran's over in the corner like, this, what is, stop having fun dissecting the trailers. Pretty much is what he was doing for all these years. So
I hate babies.
Yeah.
I hate naked Norman Reedus.
I hate naked.
I don't like Mads Mikkelsen.
And then the game comes out, and then, of course, you know, I've been over here in my corner like, this game's amazing, it's great. Nick's over here in his corner like, this game's amazing, it's great. Ash is over here like, I'm still playing it, so it can't be bad. So Ciaran's like, I'll give it a go.
Oh, I watched people play it. It looks so boring.
Yeah, I looked it up on Twitch.
It did.
It looked shit.
It very much did. It very much did look extremely boring.
But you played 6 hours. So what are your first impressions?
I'm 6 hours so far. Yes, I was probably the biggest hater on Hideo Kojima and Death Stranding.
No, you weren't. Don't worry.
I'll happily accept
At the
that.
network, he was.
Here at Explosion,
yeah.
it definitely was. And I think definitely listen to Dylan the last couple weeks talk about this game probably did the most to kind of persuade me to at least try it.
Pay me, Sony.
And
Getting them sales.
And you know what? I'm really enjoying it. Like I even said I bought it, I downloaded it, downloaded it off the PS Store.
Did you play?
Downloading it was terrible because it kept saying that the data was corrupt and it took all
Yeah,
night
but
to
then you just
download.
click retry and
That's part of the game.
It just continues, but it kept doing that until like
This-
all night.
This is a recent era. Anyway, that's a whole different thing.
It was a terrible. It was really frustrating. But so then Friday night, I went to dinner with my parents, and I said to my dad, "Hey, I've got this new game on PlayStation in the library. You can download it if you want. I don't know if I will even like it, so I don't know if you'll like it because he's very action, guns, kind of blowing shit up, kind of that kind of game up." So I sat down and I put in a good 5 hours on Friday night back to back. And I've really fucking enjoyed it.
What chapter
like,
are you
it
up
was
to,
crazy.
by the way? Just to put
I am like chapter 3 just after the wind farm.
Okay.
So I've literally just built the thing and got my bike up and running, and I'm about to ride back to the starting town.
You're in the main chunk of the game then. Once you get chapter 3, it's like, okay, you're in the main chunk of the game.
Yeah. So it's really surprising. Like it's a game that you should definitely not watch somebody play.
Yep.
Definitely 100% it would be boring, but playing it, I am having so much fun. Any game that gets me involved enough where, you know, I'm at home by myself, but I am yelling at stupid Norman Reedus on, you know, like the first section after where you run into the BTs for the first time. Like I was like on the edge of my couch swearing as I was like getting close to stuff and trying to work my way through that area. And I was really involved, and I was like, this is crazy. And then starting to get involved with like I guess this part of the game is now showing me the more active involvement of the rest of the community coming together where I don't know, like watching it must have just been the people I was watching being really bad at the game or just really stupid, because I'd play through the game and I'd find different paths. Like going through to the first mule camp was a lot easier because somebody had put a sign up to a secret pathway and I popped a ladder there, and it was nice and easy to get into the mule, and I didn't have to worry about the people that were roaming around. It's really interesting, even just down to the little things like getting the part I just did, getting to the wind farm, the whole forest of BTs that you have to go through to get to it. I got like most of the way through that forest, and then I messed up and ran into a BT. And then all the black goo shit started happening, and I started getting dragged around the place, and I was stood up and I was yelling at the screen, and I thought I was dead. And like I eventually managed to get to the wind farm without dying. And then that moment of just people leaving little like symbols of like good job or keep going or like, and that was really cool. I was like, you know what, thanks. And then I was worried about going back. I did the mission, and then I turned around and there was just bridges all the way through that area.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this makes life great. Like just those little things of leaving people leaving things that they've used throughout the world is really interesting and really fun. And it even excites me thinking and hoping that the stuff I'm leaving about the place is helping people. Even like getting the little message at the end of the mission that's like, somebody liked this or receive likes from somebody else. And even the little monotonous stuff that I thought I would really dislike, like the inventory management and
It's
balancing.
not really. You just click auto most of the time.
It's auto most of the time, and sometimes it makes it really fun trying to like realizing halfway through your trek back to the base that you've just taken on way too much weight and it is the worst thing in the world. But
yeah, but I've done trips at the slowest pace because I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Sam's back's gonna break.
Okay, I'll do
it. You've already got a pretty high stack on your back, and then you see like a generator, an energy thing, like just stacked to one side. And you're like, yeah, I could take that. I can take
that as well. It's fine.
I could take that, and it's but I'm actually really enjoying it. It's the story. I'm the biggest hater on Hideo Kojima, and the biggest hater on the way he tells stories and just how random and weird they are. But I'm really engrossed in the way he's telling this story. Do you agree
with my statement, which is that the story at a basic level is very easy to understand?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's at a base level, it's easy to understand. There's a lot of, if you're willing to take the time, and this is how invested I am in this or how interested I am, if you're willing to take the time to sit for 10 minutes and read all the interviews and the articles you get given.
I read every single one as it came out.
I've read every one that's come through.
Hundreds unread.
No, you're crazy. I read them all.
I've like read them all, and it's like even that stuff's filling it through. Even when there's like, fuck, this is intense, and just the amount of content that Hideo Kojima did show that is all just in that first hour is ridiculous. I'm really excited to get back and play it more. It's one of those games where, like you were saying, with you get anxiety about going against Mr. X, like. So part of the reason I stopped playing after I set the bike up, I had something to do, but at the same time I had anxiety about riding back towards that town because I was like, yeah, because of the BTs and stuff. I was like,
well, do you know what happens if they get you or no?
Yes, yeah, no, I do know about the void outs and everything and how that works.
Because I went through most of the game like being too scared to get grabbed, and then like the first time I talked to Ash about it, like I was already I think he was still in like chapter 1, and at this point, the first time we talked about it and played, I was like already up to chapter 3 or something. And he's like, yeah, I got grabbed and I fought a monster. I'm like, what? Like, because I was so afraid to get grabbed. I was being so slow and sneaky. I never got grabbed.
Sorry, I knew about the monster because that's what happened to me in that forest area on the way to the wind farm. That the monster was chasing me and it dragged me like half the way back through the forest, and I had to rerun through the forest in like pools of the black sludge. And it doesn't. That's the game in that moment, and I think it was what made it so frantic and so intense for me as a player. Was that the game doesn't give you any heads up about what's going to happen.
No, but the transition is that game is so well designed because like there's no load screens or anything. The game literally grabs you, drags you underground seamlessly, and then brings you up in like a tar filled pit with like buildings and shit. Like you can complain about like you can be like PC Master Race all you want, but that game is optimized to fuck on the PlayStation where it runs amazingly. There's like no loading screens and shit like that just happens seamlessly. It's amazing, I think.
And it has the right amount of telling you information, even though sometimes it does tell you the same information like 3 or 4 times using 3.
Yeah, and it stays on the screen for way too long sometimes. I'm like, just fuck off.
And spaces it together. But then there's also the right amount of time, right amount of letting me learn stuff. Like there's a lot of audio cues that I have no idea what they mean. Like
What do you mean?
where like something beeps or there's like a weird like supernatural sound or something to it. I don't know how exactly to explain it, but there's like a beep on your suit and I'm like, I have no idea what that means.
Is that not the BT beep when you're getting close to the BTs?
It might be.
Is that when your thing's out?
No, not it's like when I'm my thing's out, but maybe it's when I'm getting close to before the thing's coming out.
Could be the timefall.
It's a time fall. So when you're riding along on your bike, like when you enter rain for the first time, it'll be like zzz, like you.
It beeps and your hood comes up and yeah.
And then
Okay.
and then if you enter BT area, then it stops again and like has your little beep 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 beep, beep come out and then warns you that BT's around you. There's two forms. It's like, hey, there's rain. And rain is like, be aware. It gives you that warning because your cargo and everything will start getting hurt. And then the second warning is ghosts, man.
Ghosts, man. Even just stuff like chasing my cargo down a river after I've fallen in.
Oh, you fall.
And trying to decide if that after that last case is worth it.
Be careful.
Like,
That's never happened to me at all.
No, yeah, same.
It happened when I was like 3/4. Like I was pretty much at the riverbank and my stamina ran out and I was like, oh shit. And like I could pick up most of it, but there was one box that was lost cargo that I was like,
Not worth
it's
it.
gone.
Yeah, my favorite thing is
Goodbye.
I've seen so many people on Twitter like post videos like, this game's shit. And they're like posting Twitter videos of themselves like the cargo like falling down a cliff and they're failing missions and all this like river and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, none of this stuff happened to me because apparently I have more patience than y'all. And I'm just taking my time, but they're trying to like obviously rush and then they're failing and like be like, this game's shit. And none of that stuff's ever happened to me. I gotta be honest, like I'm very happy to hear that you're enjoying it because this game, easily one of my favorite games of the year, obviously. It's just like, I like it so much to the point that whenever I hear someone, you know, when you really like something and you hear someone else be like, yeah, I like the thing too. You're like, that's good because this thing's important to me.
Yeah.
This thing means something to me. Yeah.
Even just the moments where Kojima directs it with the music and using the music in when you're randomly walking back and the music kicks in and starts playing, like those moments give me like warm, fuzzy, like chills, like the same as how the original season of Life is Strange, when there was parts where the music would kick in and things would be going on, it would just give me a very warm feeling that would just be very, I don't know, like comforting. Like it was almost like when I'm walking and I hear that music, I'm like, oh good, there's no BTs and I can just, you know, enjoy the adventure and just
I will say,
around.
if it makes you feel better towards playing, I think the BTs, as you progress through the game, you get to a level where they're not so scary because you get so many more weapons and skills and ways to deal with them that you're like, YOLO, like you're just like charging through the areas, which I know a lot of people have said is a negative, but to me it's like, I don't mind it because they start the game like really scary, and then by the time you reach the end of the game, you're like, fuck you, like fucking shit you, get out of my way. You know, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. I'll be interested to see how long you stick with it and how long you go for it, because I think if you make it through chapter 3, you should just finish the game because chapter 3 is the longest part of the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me where I feel invested in the story. And it's something I want to keep going back to and sitting down and just putting, even if it's like 4 or 5 hours a week, and just kind of keep chipping away at it and keep moving through and just keep adventuring and seeing how it's going.
I couldn't stop playing it. I was up to fucking 3 a.m. every day playing it until I finished the damn thing the week it came out. That's how I finished it so fast. I was addicted. That's why I find it so funny. People are like, this game's boring as fuck. I'm like, I'm up till 3 a.m. because I'm literally like, one more mission, one more delivery, one more thing. I'll just keep going. Can't stop.
I even like the nature of being like, all right, I'm walking back. Have you got any deliveries for this place? Because I'm going back.
It's all
to this
planning.
place.
You're like, okay, so my main mission is like here, but what's this person have? Oh, this one has something for over here, which is sort of close. And you're like, and for something over here, which is also sort of close. So then you're like, okay, so that place is first. I'll go to there, drop it off. They're like, oh, I have something for over here, which is where he was going anyway. You know, like it's all about planning, and then as long as you,
or even just stuff like, you know, being like, you make it a certain distance and then you realize you've got a little bit too much stuff on, and you're like, oh, maybe I could just dump this lost cargo at this post box here, and somebody else can deliver.
Well, that's what I do. It's like,
thanks.
I pick up I was picking up old lost cargo, and then if I was starting to run out of space, I'd just do the deliveries at post boxes, but keep it until as long as I could, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, see how it goes. But Ash is over here, nearly
Exciting.
finishing the game. You're just hitting chapter 3.
Just in the first year.
Interesting times. Let's get into it then. The official Explosion Network Game Awards 2019 trailer reveals predictions, whatever you want to call this thing. It's always weird because obviously it's like we predicted the winners last week, so that was predictions. This is also predictions anyway.
How are we weighting these points?
Yeah, well, it's the one that more people care about because we get everything wrong. Let's define it by that. Will we get anything right this year? Who's to say? Who's to know? So the only thing we're officially ruling out this year is, of course, no one can say Resident Evil thing. We're a week away from the Game Awards. So I think we're closer than last year, right? Last year, when did we do it? We did it like a couple weeks out, and that was a problem.
I think so.
We got fucked.
We got fucked.
No, that was E3. What was E3 we got fucked?
I feel like we got fucked on everything last year by doing it too early. But
we normally get fucked.
We normally get fucked because we would just do things.
I'm hoping splitting them up, the predictions into 2 episodes is going to pay off quite well this year. But we're officially ruling out Resident Evil as a thing. And how we're going to do it is we're going to go Ciaran, Ash, me. So
I also feel like I need to point out there's been a couple of things already announced.
Yeah, well, you can't predict those. If anyone predicts those, I'm going to call them out and say you can't.
Can we go through, because I have not heard what are these things have already been
do you have them open? Do you have the
Yeah,
Game Awards
announced.
account in front of you?
Gears Tactics, Ori and the Will of Wisps, and Half-Life Alyx trailers will be shown.
Okay, cool.
Nothing
As well
dramatic. Oh,
as the
and
new
Arcane
Arcane Studio
games. Yeah,
If you can guess exactly what game that is, let you.
I'll let you have it also.
But I don't know what.
Yeah,
it is.
as long as you're not like they'll reveal a game. But yeah, there's nothing crazy that they've said so far. But so we're gonna do 5. We're gonna do 5 each. So I hope y'all got some extras backed in. I know I do. Yeah, and we're gonna go Ciaran, Ash, then me, as was doing for the offer predictions.
Are we? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Same as we did. We'll just keep the same order, apart from when we switched to esports stuff. But whatever. I feel like I'm putting myself in choosing to go last.
You're disadvantaging yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, like at E3, we did paper scissors rock.
Oh, you want to do paper scissors? You want to be real about it?
No, I want to be first. I'm happy with how it is.
Ash just trying to get first in again.
Because I think first gets an easy lock here, so I'll continue. I'll keep first. Then.
Yeah,
first does get an easy
That's
lock.
why I think we should do paper scissors rock. Because either I get first or Dylan gets first, and both is a win for me. Is both a win for Ciaran playing
I think this is a
Battleborn.
conspiracy. I think because of the amount of people want me to have Battleborn, I think I deserve first.
No, we're sticking to the order. It's fine.
Okay.
Because you're only in the middle. You're not in that bad position. I'm in the worst position. I'm literally.
He just wants this first.
I'm in the worst position, which is why I tried to write down so many fucking things because I knew I was going to lose a lot probably. So we'll see how we go.
It's all right.
All right. We're gonna keep. Hold on, should keep a fucking count here somewhere because every other year I kept being like, "What prediction are we up to?" Ciaran, kick us off. What is your first prediction?
Well,
yep.
Batman. There will be a trailer for the Court of Owls Batman, rumored to be called Batman Legacy. I'm gonna put an asterisk on this, so it's not just there will be a trailer. It'll be a Batman Court of Owls trailer featuring Dick Grayson as Batman. Okay,
It's bold.
okay. We'll have feature. It's bold. I think it'll feature Dick Grayson. So I'm going to take the easiness out of this and shoot myself.
No, it's fine because you're better off. Putting extra stuff on isn't actually always that bad because you could end up with a half a point, whereas you might have only got 0 points.
Yeah,
potential.
So with Dick Grayson as the Batman, with the name being leaked as Batman Legacy, I think that
rumored. It's not leaked.
Rumored name to be Batman Legacy. Tip of the hat to that. I'm good.
All right, Ash, what do you got for me?
I think we're going to see this new Crash Bandicoot game. It's going to show up at the Game Awards. The one that was rumored, the Worlds, the one that's going to be Super Mario 64, but with Crash Bandicoot, So I guess Mario won in the end.
Wow. You both straight away jumped onto the already semi-leak stuff. I did have, yeah.
I think, if I had gone second, I would have gone for Crash Bandicoot as well.
All right, my first one, I'm going to go with Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever it's going to end up being called, gets a teaser trailer of some sort, officially confirming whatever it's going to be called. So, Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever, either way, that game they showed gets another teaser, but this time confirming what the actual name of the game is going to be. Ciaran, what's your...
Can you chart it as a world premiere, though?
Yeah. World premiere reveal of the name.
World premiere reveal.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
These days you could have a world premiere reveal.
I hope Jeff Keighley says that. Or the
world reveal the name.
World premiere of the name.
Ciaran, what's your next one?
We will get a trailer for Ubisoft's Gods and Monsters.
It's seemingly likely, considering the game's supposed to come out in February.
Supposed to come in February. We've had fuck all about it. Was supposed to.
Now it's never coming out, probably.
I don't think.
But I think Ubisoft will use this as a chance to put out another trailer, if not fleshing out a bit more of what the hell that game is, because we got kind of nothing.
We just got a teaser
in
trailer.
The E3. Yeah, we got a teaser, so I think there's going to be a trailer of more substance here at the Game Awards.
Prove it's not just Breath of the Wild by Ubisoft.
Exactly. But with Greeks.
Means Ciaran will buy it.
Hell yeah.
Ash, what's your next one?
We are going to get a better look at Elden Ring, the game that George R. R. Martin and the guy from Dark Souls are working on.
And the guy from Dark Souls.
Yeah, I would say that's high likelihood. I mean, we got like a 30-second trailer and that was it, so it seems about time.
I mean, we got more of a trailer than we did for the first Sekiro thing, so
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's true.
Was it E3 or was it? I'm not thinking of Sekiro. I'm thinking of Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima. Don't worry about it.
Tip in your hand.
Since you said it, fuck it, I'll go. Ghost of Tsushima gets a trailer at the Game Awards. I had this down, but I was nearly gonna chuck it into I don't know about this category, simply because Sony usually isn't very much at the Game Awards. Like Nintendo is heavily there, Xbox is like semi there, but in order it's like Xbox, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation are the big three, I'd say, for presence at the Game Awards. Yeah. But then at the same time it's like, well, they're not doing PlayStation experience. I know they obviously could just show this during one of their state of plays or something along those lines. But at the same time, it's like maybe if they're gonna show one thing, I feel like the easy answer is like, well, they'll just show more Last of Us. But I'm like, we're good. We're good there.
No,
you know,
that's not gonna make Jeff Keighley happy.
No. So I feel like a Ghost of Tsushima trailer would make sense, especially considering that's supposed to be Sony's last gen big hurrah, obviously, and we haven't seen it for year and a half
since E3, the year E3 they last came.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been.
I tell you what, it'd be cool if that trailer shows, and at the end of the trailer, it's like coming to PS4, and then the PS5 logo shows up for the first time.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
That could be pretty cool. Would they really use the PS5 logo for the first time at the Game Awards?
Where else are they going to? They announced it in a Wired article. Anything is possible.
He's right.
Well played.
He's right. Ciaran, what's your third one?
We will get announced remasters of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Now you've been reading these rumors. So these Tony Hawk rumors are either people believe in their remasters or that there's a new game. So you're falling on.
I'm going on remasters. I think we're currently in the period of remasters. I've seen a lot of stuff recently about Tony Hawk talking about the original games in different articles and interviews, and I don't know if that is something that is set up or if that is just randomly people are always asking him about those.
Either,
but
probably.
yeah, I think it would be easy money right now just to put those remasters.
Let me ask you another question then. Do you actually think that those games would be fun for people to play today, even if they're brought up 4K remade, not just like a HD remaster, 4K remaster, like a from the ground up type thing? I think it would be very much a medieval Crash Bandicoot case where people are like, these games are great in their head, but they play them and they're like, ugh, this is boring.
I think if these were new games that we've never had before and they were brought out, we would be like, no, this is bad. This is not good. I think it's got enough of a nostalgia. I think a lot of people talk about these games, and I think, once again, it's like Crash Bandicoot had. A lot of people that are not directly featured inside the gaming spheres or the gaming circles will hear Tony Hawk Remaster.
And buy them.
And buy it. They'll come in and buy it. Yeah, as we all discussed it when Crash was released, that we saw people in our social media feeds from, closer to home,
kids,
our
high
normal
school
lives.
Whatever, yeah.
High school people being like, Crash Bandicoot, sweet, I heard about that. I played that when I was a kid. I'm going to buy it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I think Tony Hawk has that same power, so I'm excited to...
Here's my second question, and my problem with these being remastered. This is my main hang-up with these being remastered. I don't know... I think they would struggle with the music because
definitely
everyone
100%.
Everyone knows the reason everyone loves those games is mainly because of the music, and I worry that they would struggle to get the licensing for all of the songs exactly good and get all of the songs back perfectly. Let's go. And then I feel like if they change a couple of the songs, then all of a sudden everyone's like, it's ruined. You've ruined the game. You don't have this song. You don't have this song. Even if it's only a couple. So that's my main hang up these remasters. I'm like, if they don't get all of the songs, the game doesn't work. They have to get all of the songs.
With the time period and with how old those games are now, I think they have a better chance now of getting the rights to those songs. I think it's getting to the point with some of those songs. Yes, there are some big songs on there that they're still going to be a pain. But majority of those songs, those license holders, those royalty holders will be very happy to take a nice check to have them featured again.
Awesome. All right, Ash, what do you got for your third one?
I can't believe it's only been 7 years since they did the HD remake for PS3. I thought it was longer. Or I thought it was more recent. So, anyway, next one. Metroid Prime Trilogy comes to Switch.
Yeah, I wish.
I feel like that's a safe-ish. That is very possible.
I've seen talk of this. I've seen talk.
I mean, I want it, but I just don't believe it.
We see it any time there's a thing that needs to be predicted. But yes,
the thing is, do they wait until?
I think I said it last year or something.
They're closer to
probably
Metroid.
said it at E3.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you reckon they wait for a little bit closer to when they are somewhat nearer to Metroid Prime 4?
No, they're years off Metroid Prime 4 at this stage.
Exactly.
They literally restarted the game this year from scratch. So
it's like this would be weird then if they're trying to drum up.
No, because there's lots of people who probably haven't played them. So I think a trilogy is a good idea. I think they should have been working on the trilogy when they originally announced Metroid Prime 4, but it seemingly wasn't. So, like, this is why I'm like, well, it didn't seem they were working on the trilogy before. So now the idea is that they've restarted working on 4, maybe they've got a separate team doing the trilogy. But I'm like, then you're to believe that they've worked on the trilogy and got it ready for release in like a year and a half, basically, if you want it to come out like middle of next year or something, which I don't believe. I don't believe you could do that. So that's why I'm off the idea now. The more I thought about it, I want it to happen though. This is one of those ones where I want you to be right because I think it should come to Switch.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And I would play it happily, but we'll see. All right, what do I want to go over here next? I'll stick to the Nintendo theme, I think. Bayonetta 3 trailer with no release date. Why are you shaking your head?
Oh, are you putting no release date? It's a hard.
Yeah.
If there is a release date, you'll take half a point. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going hard.
No, they're not going to show Bayonetta. Nobody cares.
That's where
about
they
that game. It's
revealed
still
it.
coming out.
That's where they revealed it. It was at the Game Awards
Okay.
2 years ago. They revealed Bayonetta 3. And all year, every single time there's a direct, I'm like, give me a little bit. Give me a little bit. They haven't gave me anything.
Give me that naked witch.
I mean, yes.
Is that what she is?
Yeah. I mean, yes. She's not naked all the time, but yeah, she does get naked. Bayonetta are great games. Fuck you. The main reason I think this could happen now is because Platinum Games obviously was working on Astral Chain for Nintendo. And that was, I think for a long time, they wanted all attention focused on that. That's done. So if any point was now the time to remind people that they are working on Bayonetta 3, the time is right. You know, the timing is right now. Astral Chain is out. You don't need to worry about that anymore. Bayonetta is a thing that we should start getting back into our focus, get everyone's attention back to that, because Bayonetta is their best game and their best franchise, and I want my witch. This guy right here. Those games are really good. I don't know why you're complaining. Fuck you. They're really good.
They're on Switch?
Yeah. Switch. Well, I mean, the first one's on PS3 and Xbox. PC, I think. Second one's Switch only, though. Yeah.
Switch and Wii U. And Wii U, thank you.
Wii U. The only game I ever finished on my Wii U was Bayonetta 2. I basically brought my Wii U for Bayonetta 2. If that isn't a sign that I'm a fan, I don't know what is. It was literally the only game I ever finished on that fucking console. Which it was hard. The game wasn't hard. No, the game was alright.
It was just the controls.
It was the controller. I had to play it on the Tupperware because I didn't have a pro controller because I didn't play that thing enough to warrant buying a pro controller. So I played the fucking Tupperware with the screen and all that sort of stuff. All right, on to round 4. Ciaran, what do you
got? So I think this will be my kind of wacky one that I don't know how we score. But
get it right or wrong? Point or no point?
No, I know. But no, my prediction is that Stadia will be heavily featured throughout the Game Awards with a lot of either, cards at the end of trailers being like available on Stadia or like just
the way Epic Games Store was last year.
Yeah, like I think Stadia have had such a shit launch and
you're like, that's why.
Like it's had such a shit launch and they had all their problems with their catalog and their library leading up to it. They pulled games out of their ass on like the 12th hour. I think for them, for their continuity of that console or that service, they need to have a presence here to say these games are coming to Stadia. And they're not going to have that opportunity again till E3. And E3 is kind of a bit too late to kind of be going, these games are coming. I think it definitely needs to feature here. Dylan's giving me like eyes. He's like, I don't know if you're talking shit or.
I mean, we'll judge you fairly. I'm not going to try and rip point. Like, if it shows up a lot at the end of trailers, you'll get the point, obviously. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know if they have the money to pay for that big of, or want to for the Game Awards. I don't know. I'm very doubtful, but. You do you.
It's my wacky one. I think I played it reasonably safe with the other one so far.
I mean, even that was a lot safer than the previous years. GTA 4 remake.
That was this year, wasn't it?
Was that E3?
That was E3.
Yep. Sony's definitely going to come out. They're not attending, but they're going to come out and they're going to announce GTA 4. Ash, what do you got?
There's been a lot of rumors that there's going to be an Xbox Studios game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, toss it up between two. I'm going to say Banjo-Kazooie.
Interesting.
Game.
Interesting.
Y'all crazy.
You're
going to make me want to drop my crazy one next.
They're going to see the massive buzz out of his release in Super Smash Bros. And they're going to be like, It's been long enough that they've got enough time to be working.
So you're saying that
using
they're
design on a new game.
so what you're saying is they're going to show a CGI trailer, because if you're saying they saw the popularity of the Smash thing, so we'll start working on a game now.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be much to show. It'll be a teaser.
Banjo-Kazooie will be at the Game Awards.
Are you changing your prediction?
No. I said Banjo-Kazooie is going to be at the game
That's very
announce.
vague.
They'll announce a Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yeah,
Okay, there we
fair.
go.
Yeah, that's what you said
There
first,
we
but
go.
then you was
I
like,
was
they'll be at the
waiting for,
Game Awards.
like-
I'm like, all right, get your words right here.
I was waiting for you to be
No,
like
Banjo and Kazooie will not physically be there at the Game Awards.
No, but I was waiting for there to be a
I don't know
Smash
if you know
Brothers
this, but
trailer.
they're fictional characters.
No, but I was waiting for there to be a Smash Brothers trailer, and then afterwards you'd
No.
be like, Banjo Kazooie were there. They were there.
No, I wouldn't take that.
All right.
Unless I'm losing.
Since round 4 is
You
the
would
crazy
make me
ones.
get straight.
Here we go.
Here we go. So if they're going to announce the Crash Bandicoot is getting a new game here, then what else is going to come up here is a new challenger approaches. Crash Bandicoot spins his way into Super Smash Bros.
yeah.
Ultimate. Coming soon.
Wow.
Banjo's in it. You going to doubt me now?
Yeah, but he was on Nintendo. I mean, the more apt one is Joker, who isn't on Nintendo and will not be coming to Nintendo, except in what's it called, Super Strikers.
Whatever it's called. I don't know. Sushi Strikers?
Yeah. Persona 5 not coming to Switch. Can I make that my last prediction?
No, I'm gonna go with Crash because I want this to happen because I won't buy Smash to play as Crash. Still don't care about Smash. I will buy the Amiibo though. Buy the Amiibo.
It'll be out in 12 months, but yeah.
Buy the Amiibo.
I don't know. I don't think Crash is likely.
No, I don't see it. I see Sony wanting to hang on to Crash for
They don't have it though.
whenever they decide
It's
to.
Activision.
No, but
I mean, technically it's not Sony, so...
it's not Sony's, but I see Sony being like, "Hey, we kind of want to do fucking
Now that I think about that,
PlayStation
I think there's more
All-Stars
of a chance.
again."
Now that I remember, it's an Activision property.
Your prediction. Oh, they're bringing a Crash game, right? The one that's rumored that they're Crash, whatever it's going to be called, new Crash game.
Crash
that's
Worlds.
going to be coming to PS4, Switch, Xbox. It's going to come to all platforms, including Switch. Crash is coming to the Smash Bros.
It's possible. It wouldn't be my pick for the Smash. I think there will be a Smash reveal, but
Yeah, I was nearly going to be boring and just be like, "There's a Smash reveal at the Game Awards," but
yeah. My money's on Steve from Minecraft.
fuck.
That's actually a really good
It's
one.
been rumored for a very long time.
It's been rumored for a while, yeah.
And everyone hates it. All right. Last round. Ciaran.
Better than Tracer.
Okay, let's go for my hope. This is what I'd love to see: a trailer for Dragon Age 4.
Do you think they're going to have a trailer a year after they came out and teased it with a
Again.
Yeah, I think
PowerPoint
so.
presentation?
I think so. I think they'll do it. I think they need to after Anthem.
They do need some good press.
They need some good
I
press
think
after
it would be a
Anthem.
bad move because of Anthem. I think if they come out and they show a trailer for that so soon, after Anthem's still in recovery mode, then they're like, well, you've gave up.
Anthem's not in recovery mode. Here in Australia, they were selling Anthem for $4. $4
There's no recovery
in Australia.
It's cheaper than coffee.
That's
Cheaper
that's
than a
rid-
coaster.
When was the last time you saw a popular retailer, JB Hi-Fi, selling a game for $4 that was released in the same year?
I brought that shit day one.
You fucking
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. And I played it for
Did you?
I played it for a week and then I stopped. I've traded in since then, but
probably a good idea to have traded it in before now. If you still have the game, you are better off using it as a coaster for your drinks on your desk or on your.
I
coffee
think I only
table.
played it for a couple of hours and I was like, I can't.
You might want to use it as a donut holder if you want to pop a donut on there and just
Pizza
hold
cutter.
Pizza cutter. Maybe people tweet at Explosion Pod.
Get a couple. You can make some wind chimes.
Just tweet your ideas of what's a better idea to do with an Anthem disc right now, because putting it in your console
never
is
get anything from
a bad idea.
From BioWare again.
Don't say again. Ash, what's your last one?
I'm going to counteract Kieran's. I don't think BioWare is going to try and get goodwill with Dragon Age 4.
Uno, reverse card.
I think they're going to get goodwill with Mass Effect Trilogy for current consoles.
I'm in your camp.
Wait, must.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, if I had to pick between one of your things, I'd say Ash is more likely on the money.
So, is your prediction, to get the wording down, is your prediction that they will announce the Mass Effect trilogy for current generation consoles? Okay. That's probably a smarter. That is
prediction. Better good press than another trailer for Dragon Age.
Also, by the way, we totally rewrote the ending of Mass Effect 3.
Look at these games you liked, except for that one bit that you didn't. But
here's a new piece of information. All right, my last one then. Outlast 3 gets revealed. This is based on the fact that this one stands out because I wrote up a story for Explosion Network about this around Halloween time. Red Barrels, the developer of the Outlast games, tweeted out a picture like teasing their new game and said reveal will be coming soon, and that was at Halloween. They still haven't revealed shit.
I did forget about that.
So at this point, let's assume that there's only a couple weeks before the Game Awards, and they said reveal coming soon at Halloween. I'm now likely to say that it's going to show up at the Game Awards. That's my connecting the dots all there.
Thought process,
yeah. So, and I'm saying
Outlast doesn't scream Game Awards to me though.
Why not? Like it's very popular with streamers and shit though. Is the thing.
Yeah, but it's not like
and let's.
I feel like mostly they're like kind of mainstreamy games that they do at the Game Awards.
I had a lot of indie shit there last year.
No, I think Outlast is big enough.
I think Outlast is like a big indie game.
Especially with how because I remember now the image that they put out with
a hand
the
shit.
The hand.
Yeah,
because
it didn't say Outlast 3, but I presumed it was Outlast 3.
Yeah, and it was very close to when the Batman bullshit came out as well.
Yeah, but that's like leakage rumor shit. This is at least a developer tweeting out a picture being like, hey, announcement coming soon. They didn't say Outlast 3, but I think as I wrote up in our news story for it, like you read the barcode numbers on the dog tag that's in that picture and it references the Outlast game. So it's like, seems like Outlast 3 to me. And yeah, they said coming soon. It's fucking months later. What do you mean coming soon? Like, reveal coming soon. Reveal literally coming months later. Jesus Christ, the longest tease ever. I think it's a Game Awards thing, especially, as I said just then, like, it's very big with streamers and Let's Players and YouTubers and whatever else, the Outlast series.
There was Evil Within trailers at Game Awards, right? I remember there being Evil Within 2 maybe being at Game Awards.
There's lots of indie and weird shit that gets announced at the Game Awards. You just forget it. Like there was a bunch of weird indie shit that was announced last year that we haven't seen anything about since. You know?
I just hate myself. That's fine. That's fine. I can keep that as an honorable mention prediction.
What's your honorable mention prediction?
I just remembered that was it Bethesda? The Bethesda Ghost game that was announced at E3?
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah. At E3 that was announced. Yeah, Ghost.
That's probably
Fire.
That would be something.
Does anyone else have any left on the list?
I don't think so.
Chuck them out.
Fable, new Fable game.
Fable.
That's good.
It's rumored that Playground Games is working on it.
That would fill in the void of Microsoft Studios.
Yeah. So that was the other one I was tossing up. And then Harry Potter game, which is more of a wish than anything else.
I mean, there's always that video in everyone's mind.
I mean, out of the two WB property games that are going to be announced, the Batman one's more likely.
So,
and then I put Assassin's Creed, but I don't think that's very likely.
No, I don't think, because they've said they're taking time off of Assassins.
Yeah, they did last year.
No, they said it this year.
That time off this year. That time off this year.
They had time off this year.
Yeah, but they're not. They're going to wait till E3 to announce that.
Probably.
They're going to wait to a
I
plane
don't think
flight to
they'll. I
announce
don't think
that.
they.
Or someone will drop a piece of paper on the ground.
Do we reckon there's going to be more Watch Dogs Legion?
No. So,
No,
did anyone else have any leftovers before I go through my 4 leftovers?
not worth it.
Not worth.
Not ones that I was like, these are legit. No.
So the only ones I had left over that weren't taken was new Far Cry game, because that was last year and they happily whip those things out in weird times of the year. Halo Infinite gameplay trailer.
I thought that was one of my ones that I just thought was not. I thought because, it'd be smart to capitalize on Halo coming out so close for the PC. Everybody's talking about Halo again. Kick it out. But at the same time...
But then like, why am I playing this crappy Halo when I could be playing this future good Halo in the future?
At the same time, we got like a substantial Halo trailer at E3. So it's like...
It was still just like a cinematic thing. Like, they could have shown the first gameplay clips here.
But it was so good.
Was it though?
Was it?
It was awesome.
Then I had Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC trailer.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Which I'd still say is like a decent one. And then my last one, which I feel like is an easy one, and I just want to say it because it felt too easy, and I was trying to middle ground or something, which is just that there's going to be some Fortnite event reveal, maybe another tie-in like to Australian TV, like The Block last year. I'm a Fortnite celebrity. Get me out of here.
No, now you can get married in Fortnite.
Can you?
Married at first sight.
Married at first pickaxe.
At Fortsight?
Fortsight.
At Fortsight. Married at Fortsight. Yeah.
But Fortsight spelled like Forsit.
And then if you get married, you team up.
And you duo together, and that's your only duo partner for the rest of the time. And you have to build your
battle
own house
royale.
together.
You're laughing now until it's revealed.
And then you can have little children NPCs.
Feel like Fortnite is not the game for this idea.
No, well, I don't know. Like the other week, I saw they was having fishing competition, so I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, there's lots of fishing in Fortnite.
Yeah, of course there is. Of course there is.
There's now.
You got to eat the fish. You got to eat the fish.
Just saying.
The health.
Next step, baby making.
Yeah. Start with the fishing. Next second, you're fishing with your. Fishing with your wand.
The fact that you had to say the lead up into that line twice was like somebody like talking themselves into jumping off a cliff. Like you ran up and you stopped yourself perfectly. You stepped back from the step.
The first time I was going to say a lot dirty, and I was like, wind it back.
I'll wind it back. Rod. Yep.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. Thank you for joining us on the couch. Make sure you check out explosionnetwork.com for all our other shows, reviews, news, articles, and much more. You can review Arcade Couch on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser to help out the show, or simply review the episode on social media. Share it with your friends. You can follow Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod and join our Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, Vivaladil. You can follow Ashley on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEY, and you can follow Ciaran on Twitter at Boy Ringo. And we'll see you here next week. Same time, same couch.